Kouga Municipality has ordered immediate evacuation of residents of Zwartenbosch, Oyster Bay Road and Kromme River areas. Let's now chat to the Mayor Hattingh Bornman about this development. A very good afternoon to you, Mr. Mayor. How much of a threat to life and property is what is happening at the Kouga Municipality at the moment?
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me. Yes, we are in a desperate situation as Veldfires has gotten out of control, specifically behind Humansdorp, between Humansdorp and Jeffreys Bay, and then also close to St. Francis. At this stage, we've asked residents that is not in St. Francis town, but surrounding areas around St. Francis to evacuate. And then as far as Jeffreys Bay Humansdorp is concerned, as you can see in the pictures there, it is the fire is out of control, but luckily at this stage not too close to any infrastructure damage as far as homes or other infrastructure is concerned. We do have a concern in St. Francis, and we are getting air support in from George as we speak. So things are looking quite rough at this stage.
I mean, you are getting help from George, you're saying, but do you have, or I suppose together with the help you'll be getting from places like George, do you have the capacity to actually manage the situation?
Yes, we've got firefighter teams in St. Francis that are currently fighting the St. Francis side. The Humansdorp firefighters are fighting, Humansdorp and Jeffreys Bay firefighters are fighting the fire between the two towns. So we've got a lot of feet on the ground. We will appreciate any help we can get. We've got choppers coming in, as I said, from George. We've got some aircraft coming in from Bloemfontein and so on. So we're really working as hard as we can to get as many boots on the ground and as many water on the ground as possible.
What kind of help do you need?
Well, in terms of water tankers, in terms of making sure that we get enough water quickly enough to the fire so that we can fight it. And then also where there's evacuations. At this stage, the evacuations are still reasonably small numbers, but if this does get more, we'll obviously need some assistance as far as that's concerned as well.
If the situation does get out of control, God forbid, how many vulnerable people do you have, like poor people who don't really have the means that perhaps the more affluent may have, or some of whom may even be insured and that kind of thing? I'm talking here about people who may be living in informal areas or poor, small households.
Mm-hmm. Luckily, at this stage, there's not, the fire isn't close to our informal settlements. So we are monitoring that very closely and making sure that we protect property and lives firstly. First, we need to get people out of danger, and then property after that. So we are making sure that we don't run those risks. So at this stage, there's our poorer communities are out of threat. But there are close to, in Humansdorp, obviously thousands of people, and St. Francis as well. There's a community called Sivista there with quite a few thousand people, but at this stage, as I said, they are not at risk as the winds in the direction the wind's currently blowing.
Do we know what started it all? That which presumably you would want to be avoided going forward.
Yeah. At this stage, it's very hard to say what started it. We know there were some people that were because of cable theft. Some coppers were being burnt, and that's rumored to be one of the reasons. But at this stage, it's very difficult to say. As I said, it's not just one fire. There's actually 5 fires. The biggest 2 that I just mentioned. There's also 3 smaller ones. One in Humansdorp itself, in town, and then one towards Hankie, and then another smaller one around Humansdorp. So there's actually 5 fires at the moment at the same time in different locations.
Have you had anything similar before?
Not at this scale. We obviously, St. Francis a few years ago had huge fires around 2015, where about 80 homes at that stage burned down. And then there also more recently, a few years ago, with the Neisner fires, that fire spread all the way to our area and burned through our whole municipality. So we're not at that scale yet, but we obviously need to make 100% sure that this doesn't get out of control.
Mayor Bornman, let me thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
The Kouga Municipality ordering immediate evacuation of residents in parts of that municipality.